This recording will cover Chapter 7 from your textbook, later reading strategies and techniques. Chapter 6 talked about some of those earlier reading strategies and techniques, looking really at the phonological awareness, stuff like that. So now we're going to get into a little bit later as our kiddos are growing up and getting older. We want to think about fluency, comprehension, again, how to monitor reading, comprehension, some common problems students with high incidence disabilities might face, and again, some strategies and techniques to improve the vocabulary skills, the fluency, and the reading comprehension skills of students with high incidence disabilities. So we want to think about what all is involved in fluency. First of all, fluency development, stuff like that. Their Chal Airy, I think is how that name is pronounced. I might be wrong. But thinking about, early stages and then sight word learning. And I want you to think about, why is reading fluency important? Well, this is the rate and smoothness at which one reads written text. The three components of reading fluency are rate, reading words quickly, accuracy, reading words correctly, and prosody, breaking sentences into phrases, or prosody. I tend to pronounce things a little bit different than other people, but you know what I'm talking about. So we want to think about, as our students are getting older, we want them to be fluent readers where they're reading quickly, but we also want them to be accurate, and we want them to understand what they're reading, right? If I sit here and read like this, the grade or age level of, that's not fluent, right? That is painful to listen to. So we want to encourage our students and help our students to become as fluent readers as they can. So again, components of reading fluency: accuracy, reading words correctly, right? The rate, their reading rate, so reading it quickly, and then breaking sentences into phrases. So, the role of fluency in becoming a skilled reader, or something like that, kind of knowing when to take a break, where the phrasing, how the phrasing kind of works. So again, the role of fluency, the early stages of fluency development: initial reading or decoding stage. We talked about this in Chapter 6, I believe. Confirmation fluency, and ungluing from print stage. So, not just focus on just what is exactly in the print. What else? What is the context? What else is going on here? And then reading for learning the new blank. Apparently they left off a word. I'm just going to make up a word and say content. I don't have the textbook in front of me, so that really could be wrong. But again, these slides are from the publisher, not from me. So when you get to this point in the textbook, just go ahead and fill in the blank. Okay. Oh, gracious day. All right, so development in sight word learning. We have that pre-alphabetic phase. So that's where beginners connect visual attributes of words and its letters to pronunciations and the meaning of the word. So, that might be where they look at, they might not know the letters, but they might know the word "the" is tall letter, small letter, right? So maybe they're looking at something like that, okay? Partial alphabetic phrase: children begin to learn that certain letters are associated with letter sounds. We talked about that. Full alphabetic phase is as children encounter familiar and new words, they are able to apply their phonological awareness skills that we talked about in Chapter 6 to segment the words into letter sounds and then blend those sounds back together to produce the word. So first they're going to segment them, k, at, and then they're going to blend them back together. Cat, right? K, at. That's how we're segmenting. Oh, then we're going to blend them. Cat. That's how they students work on becoming fluent readers. So we also want to think about reading comprehension, right? You've probably heard first students learn to read and then they read to learn. So this is kind of where, we're really looking at, okay, what are the students taking from what they are reading? What are they getting out of it? Are they comprehending it? Are they understanding what they're reading? Because not only do we want them to be fluent and accurate readers, we also need them to understand, right? We need them to have that comprehension of what they're reading, because otherwise, well, what's the point of reading? I mean, it's fun, right? I guess if you're a skilled reader, it might be fun just to read, But you also we want to make sure that we are looking at, the comprehension and how are the students understanding what they're reading, whatever level it is. It could be on a kindergarten level text, but are they understanding? Are they able to tell the main character? Are they able to tell, what happened at the beginning of the story, what happened at the middle of the story, what happened at the end of the story? And yes, that's, kind of breaking it down very simply, but, as they get older, the comprehension questions become a little more challenging. Okay, so some types of reading comprehension questions: textually, it's very hard to say, textually explicit. This is safe for work, I promise. Textually explicit or literal comprehension. So what is, this is a type of reading comprehension question that is usually derived directly from the printed text on the page to answer the question. So it is on page 6 of the textbook. Go tell me who Jan the dog is going to see. Oh, Jan the dog is going to see Pat the cat. Yes, you're exactly right. So very explicitly defined or written out for the students and very literal, okay? Then we move to more textually implicit or inferential questions. So this is a type of reading comprehension question that requires one to make, ready, inferences or conclusions based upon searching through the printed text for the answer. So the answer might not be specifically printed out or explicitly printed out. Oh, on page 6, who is Pat the cat going to see? Well, there's a picture of a turtle. It doesn't necessarily say Pat the cat is going to see, I could say Yertle, but I'll go with Georgia the turtle. That's my dog. So, but I'm just going to infer that there's a turtle in the picture and Pat the cat are in the picture. So maybe they're going to go hang out together. Okay. I'm going to make some inferences. I'm going to look at what's not explicitly stated in the text. I'm going to look and see what I can figure out. What clues can I use? Okay. And then there's scriptly implicit. Whoo, y'all, I tell you, this is a type of question that requires the students to use their script or kind of a schema that they have in their mind of the topic to answer the question. It typically involves using background knowledge and topics to answer the question. So this might be for some of your older readers. So think about this, right? For some of your students with high incidence disabilities, which one do you think is going to be the most difficult type of comprehension? This one, right? This scriptly implicit. That's difficult for everybody, but especially for your students with high incidence disabilities. That's where it's going to get really, really tricky in terms of comprehension for your kiddos. So some types of structure, this is just kind of text structure. So description or descriptive, it's very descriptive text. Problem solution, sometimes there's a problem and then there's a solution. And you can talk about that, comparison, contrast, perfect example, little Venn diagram. You can use something like that, cause and effect. Oh, Pat the cat jumped on, Georgia the turtle's back, and the effect, no, the turtle did not drown. The turtle saved Pat the cat and took him across the sea, right? I don't know. And then sequencing, again, what happened first, what happened, next, what happened last. For your younger students, what happened at the beginning of the story? What happened in the middle? Okay, what happened at the end? For your older students, tell me what happened first. Tell me what happened second. Tell me what happened third or next or fourth or, getting more in detail with the sequencing of a story. And again, all of these structures will help or hinder your students' understanding, your students' comprehension. They might have a really hard time with cause and effect, especially some of your kiddos with autism. They might have a really hard time with this, right? So thinking about how you can help to work on some of those skills. Okay, again, we've kind of talked about this. Students with HI have inefficient word recognition skills. They struggle to recognize some of those basic words even. They have poor fluency and poor reading comprehension strategies. Weak vocabularies, background knowledge might be limited, and they typically don't have an appropriate reading strategy for a particular situation or know how to apply a strategy. So if you're teaching students with high incidence disabilities, really think about some of these reading strategies that you can teach, that you can apply. You're going to have to explicitly, again, teach them the strategies, But this is where that explicit instruction comes in reading. Okay, watch me. Today we're going to learn a new strategy. We're going to learn to highlight key words and phrases of our text or whatever, for some of your older students. For your younger students, maybe you might use pictures. Okay, I'm going to give you some pictures and we're going to talk about what happened first, what happened in the middle, and what happened at the end, or the beginning, middle, and end. And we're going to put the pictures in order, right? Starting with something like that. That is a strategy that you will need to teach your students. A lot of them will come to you not having any of these strategies. Okay, so again, you want to think about, deciding upon appropriate reading materials. That's where your media specialist will be really helpful at your school, and the readability. As textbooks get more advanced, the readability gets a little tricky, right? Especially like a science or a social studies textbook. Sometimes there's fewer pictures, which some of our students really rely on. Okay, so some strategies and techniques for improving vocabulary. And again, please make sure you look in your textbook. They can fit in so much more information than I can. A word map is a visual display that links a target vocabulary word with synonyms. There's also the Frayer model, which I've taught before, which has and if you take education, I think it's 763 with me. I can't remember which class I have it in, to be honest. But we will talk about Frayer models, and we will talk about keyword and mnemonic strategies. So the Frayer, though, has the word in the middle, and then off to the one side, it's definition or facts characteristics. On the other side, it's kind of the definition in your own word. And then down below in the left corner is examples, and in the right corner is non-examples. So we want to make sure we're saying what a word is and synonyms, but we also want to make sure what a word is not, or maybe some of those antonyms. So other strategies include small number of vocabulary words at a time, presenting new vocabulary in context, so not just kind of out in left field by itself, and then matching vocabulary taught with word meanings used in a story or text. Keyword, we also talk about that in 763, so you have to come back to 763 to learn more about keyword and mnemonic strategies. But here are some examples. Acoustic reconstruction links a vocabulary word with a similar sounding keyword. So I teach this one in math a lot. I teach about parallel lines, or no, excuse me, I'm going to do the perpendicular. So perpendicular, I say, the book sits, hold on, lies.com. Parallel lines, I use the term pair of elves, and I show the pair of elves on a pair of parallel lines and how they will never meet and they'll never interact. The perpendicular one is just 100% out of my mind right now, so I'm going to move forward. Symbolic representation links an abstract vocabulary word with a picture to make the information more memorable. So to me, I combine a lot of these, honestly. Acoustic, symbolic, and I think this is supposed to say mnemonic, to be honest, but I guess mimetic is a version of mnemonic. So really, Roy G. Biv, The Colors of the Rainbow, right? Something like that. The name of the planets. My very excited mother just served us 9 pizzas, depending on if Pluto is a planet or not. Or my very excited mother just served us nachos. Okay, we also want to think about using repeated reading, so a technique where teachers have students read one passage several times or until they reach a predetermined level of fluency. Paired reading and peer tutoring are also really important. This is where you're pairing them up with a partner, maybe from the same class, maybe from a different grade level. A lot of schools do, like, 5th graders go read with your partner in kindergarten. So that's really a helpful strategy as well. Some other strategies: collaborative strategic reading, story maps, again, visually representing a story or whatever you can. KWL, you've probably heard of this before. What I know, what I want to know, what I learn. All of these strategies are really helpful for improving comprehension. Okay, paraphrasing. So this could be, this is called the RAP, R-A-P. I actually teach this to my undergraduates. Read a paragraph. Ask yourself, what were the main idea and details in this paragraph? So maybe you're going to look at the first sentence to find the main idea, and maybe you're going to look for repetitions of the same word or words in the whole paragraph, and then you're going to put the main ideas and details in your own words. So I use this RAP for reading and math with my undergrads. Okay, another strategy, predict what ideas are in the story, organize your thoughts, search for structure, summarize the main ideas, and evaluate. So this is the POSSE strategy. Okay, this is also in your textbook. Cognitive mapping strategy, again, making a picture, write down the topic, read the paragraph, ask for the main ideas. You could draw a picture of the topic, excuse me. Verify the main idea by circling it, linking those details, kind of those maps. You may have seen some of those maps. And then find a way to link all the circles. Again, go into your textbook. And then the KWL for teaching comprehension, improving comprehension. You can use this across content areas, right? What we know, what we want to know, and what we learned or what we still need to learn. Okay, so that very quickly was chapter 7, discussing later reading strategies and techniques. But again, make sure to visit your textbook for more in-depth explanations. I'll see you back for chapter 8.